Well, another Tuesday. Hello, everyone. This is Annette L. Anderson, and this is TNT Tuesday Night Talk. This is the time that we soar. I'm signing on right now. Give me a couple minutes. We are excited tonight. Just going to wait a few minutes for a couple people to come on, and we will get started. So I am going to start my little banner here when people come on. Um, like I said, this is Annette L. Anderson, and this is Tuesday Night Talk, TNT, and this is the time that we take flight and soar. This is a platform that we come on every Tuesday at 9 o'clock, and we share the word, we share our thoughts. We take this opportunity to really expound on some things that's going on in the community and even things that's going on even in my head. Sometimes I have all kind of thoughts and ideas, and I'm just trusting God to allow me to be able to convey messages, to encourage, to enlighten, to let you know that regardless of what it may look like, what it sounds like, smell like, God is still in this business. And so we are, as always, so happy to be here, so blessed just to um, have another day, another opportunity, just to give God glory on tonight. So I am giving you guys a couple of minutes here to share with me tonight. This is a platform that I come on every Tuesday. It's called SOAR, SOAR. This is the time that we speak, orate, articulate, and reverberate. And this is the time that, like I said earlier, I just talk about some things and I share some things and I try to empower people. I try to encourage people to let them know that regardless of what life throws at us, that we still can keep it moving. I call that the Kim anointing, to keep it moving regardless of what it looks like I say, what it smells like, whatever happens. And so tonight, as always, I'm going to be sharing some things with you and sharing my heart. Sometime on Tuesday night, I share what may be going on in our community, in our country, in our world. Sometimes I share the word. It just depends on what I'm led to do on that, any particular Tuesday night. So I'm talking because I'm looking forward to some people coming on and sharing with us tonight. As always, hey Sharon, as always, I am always in awe of what God is doing and what he's saying. And hey there, Miss Deborah, and what he's doing in this day and season. And I was telling my husband today, we went to Walmart. And I say this country and even places I go just have such a different vibe. And when you walk in places, there are people. Some people have masks, some don't. It's just their personal preferences. And of course, I have my mask on because I'm not very comfortable right now with the situation. It's not that I don't trust God, but I do know that this thing is real. And people can run around and say it's fake and all they want to, but that has nothing to do with my own personal decision. So today, when I was at Walmart, I said, wow, it's such a different vibe. Even when you go in Walmart, they don't have very few people working in there. You're pretty much on your own. You have any questions, that's too bad. Figure it out yourself. It's not the same place, that was used to be user friendly. And so today I was like, I was looking around. I said, wow, even in everyday living, there's been a shift. Of course, there's been a shift in our country. That goes without saying. But there's been such a shift in everyday living, and I am just perplexed sometimes when I look and when people have the audacity to say this thing is not real. Uh, it is really annoying to me because it's very real, and a lot of people have lost their lives because of it. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on that today. I just found just such a weird a vibe, for lack of a better word, such a weird vibe. But I do know that I don't think things will ever go back to the way they were. That may not necessarily be a bad thing. I think God is doing something new. I think God is doing something innovative. I think He's opened up doors and caused us to see like we've never seen before. He's caused us really to step outside of the box, things that, used to be just, you get up in the morning, you know your routine. Now you don't know, because you're more cautious than you ever been. And it's those kind of things that have you perplexed sometimes and have you thinking, and then also having you to be thankful. To be thankful because with all the people that may have passed away, I was fortunate that I didn't lose anyone I knew. That I knew personally. I do know some people who they say died because of it, but um, I've been blessed, and so I just give God the glory on this night, and I am so happy that He still chose me. So tonight, wanted to share a couple of things with you, and I always say I won't be long, but that don't seem like that's the truth. Oh boy! But tonight I really want to talk about goals, um, and because if we're going to become what we've God have ordained us to become, there are times that we want to have goals, and I did a little research and I was trying to find out what does goal really mean. And this is one of the best explanations that I found. They say goals represent the decision that we make and the commitments we take in order to reach, attain, break some bad habit, adopt useful habits to or achieve more in different areas of our life. So in other words, goals are something that we set because we're trying to get somewhere. Hey Barbara, we're trying to get somewhere. So we set goals because it helps us stay in line and stay in place. I know for so many years in my life, I didn't have goals. I just worked and paid my bills and raised my children. That's all I did. I didn't have a 2 year goal or a 5 year goal. I didn't have that. I just, I paid these bills. Okay, let's go next. And I got up the next morning and did the same thing. So when I was thinking about goals, I just wanted to share a couple things with you before we go any further. And I want to touch on goals in the spiritual sense, but I also want to touch on goals in the natural sense. And do you ever feel like you're sleepwalking through life with no real idea of what you want? Have you ever felt like that, y'all? You're just walking through life, you know. Maybe you know exactly what you want to achieve, but you don't have any idea how to go there. And this is where goal setting come into play. Goals are the first step in you planning for your future, because even though some of us may be older, 40, 50, 60, it does not mean that we shouldn't have goals. Even now, I've already set goals for this year. Now, a lot of times you do understand we set goals, but we may not necessarily always achieve it. But at least we have a benchmark. We have a way of looking at things, saying, okay, now this is what I'm going to do. Now, whether you make that goal or not, but if you begin to put goals in place, then what happens is shift your mindset, because you don't just live life willy nilly, but you have something set. And so I was when I was doing a little study, I found that there's at least four types of goals. It's lifetime goals, short goals, stepping stone goals, transactional goals. So some goals are for a long period of time. I try not to set long periods time. I try not to set goals for a very, very long time, because I get distracted and I get off beat. But there are at least a couple things I've set a goal for. One of the goals that I set, and I'm actually going to do it. I said I was going to retire this year, and I was thinking about it a couple months ago, and I almost rescinded my retirement, because now I'm thinking, okay, I set this goal. I've been working on this job. August the 4th is 37 years ago. So my whole life, well, a big chunk of my life, I've been coming to work. At this time, I'm working from home. I've been getting a check every 2 weeks, and I'm like, oh my God, what I'm going to do, you know. But I understood that even though my flesh said stay on this job, but my spirit man said it's time. It's time. It's time to do some other things. It's time to really do the things that I've been called to do. For so long, this job I have, it's always been about helping somebody else. It's helping somebody else get medical attention, helping somebody else get cash, trying to help people maybe get a place to live, trying to help people get food stamps. So that's been my life for 37, almost 37 years. And even before this job, I worked at the hospital in Bunnell a couple of years. I cut cabinets, worked at motel. So I've actually worked over 40 years. And so fear, because what fear does, it gets in the way of God. And so fear set in. I'm just being transparent. Fear set in, and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do this. But then all of a sudden I had just a warm feeling from God to remind me that if he can feed the birds, in the air, he can surely take care of me. And so what I did, I did not rescind my retirement. My last day at work is August the 22nd. My official day that I'm no longer at DCF because I decided to take 3 weeks off will be September the 16th. And so it was such a big step for me. But I had to set that goal because if I had not set that goal, I would be saying, okay, I'm gonna do it next year. Then I'm gonna do it next year. And then now, I'm getting older and older, then I won't be able to walk into the things that that God called me to walk in. And so that's why it's so important, even if it's many goals, even if you decide, what, I'm going to start walking uh, 30 minutes a day. It may not seem like a lot, but when you set that goal, your mind tell you every day I'm going to go and walk 30 minutes. Because when you set those type of goals, it helps you. It helps you medically. It frees your mind. I find when I'm walking, I have a lot of time to meditate because I don't have TV. I have a lot of time to think about stuff and a lot of times to pray. So it's very important. Now, there's a thing that's called SMART goals, and I'm just going to go over this with you briefly. It's first part is specific. It means to target a area for improvement. Now, you do understand that we all need improvement. There's all some of us need some improvement. Like me, I need to lose weight. I need to uh, take class. I need to start trying to learn something new every day. I study the word, and when I study the Bible, when any particular topic that I'm studying the scripture, I study the words because I want to be knowledgeable. I don't want to just read what the Bible says, but I want to dig into it because you do understand that the Bible is Hebrew, Greek, and Aramaic and some other languages. And sometimes you have to really dig into the Bible to really know what that particular text is talking about and who and what, why, and when. And so that's so important that I set these types of goals. And also talks about measurable goals. It's just an indicator of progress for a measurable goal. In other words, you're trying to measure, can I do this? Because there's no need for you to say, I'm going to do this great thing when you may need to be take baby steps. You may one day want to run, but you do understand that if you have not been walking and getting yourself in some type of condition, that's not going to work good. I'm here to tell a story because I had started walking last year and I'm going to decide I'm going to run. Man, I got around there about 30 seconds. I was out of breath. Why? Because I was not prepared. I had not prepared myself to be able to go further in what I was doing. And this is what I'm talking about, achievable. Specify who will do it and how. So if you set a goal, how am I going to get this goal done? Especially you say you want to walk every day. You have to determine what is the best time for you. Of course, if you got a job, you may not be able to work between 8 and 5. So you got to decide, am I going to walk maybe from 6 to 6:30? Or will I get up early enough for those who go to work at 8? Maybe I'll get up at 5, or maybe I'll get up at 6 and I'll walk around in my neighborhood. So you have to have goals that's achievable, because that's so important. Because if you have a goal and you can't achieve it, you listen, that won't last long. It will not, because you'll be like, shoot, I don't feel like that today. And then also you got to be realistic. You know, come on now, don't try to do stuff you can't do. Everything got to start out small. And so you have to be realistic. What is my goal? And I had to really think about um when I made the decision to retire. I weighed all the pros and the cons, and I'll be honest with you, it wasn't even about the job. Listen, I don't want to work no more anyway. I've been out. I didn't want to work for a long time, but I had to pay bills. So it really wasn't about the job per se, but it was about what am I going to do now because I've done this for 37 years. So what would my day look like? How am I going to plan out my day? What is my goals now, come that time, now that I won't be getting up early, going to work. I work from 7 to 3:30, going through that ritual, talking to my coworkers and that kind of thing. So what is my goal? And so I sat down and I started to determine what the goal was, the things that I wanted to do, the things that I felt would help me go to the next level in my life. And so I decided to, of course, I wrote a book already. I already got an idea for another book. I got several ministries and organizations. I'm trying to get them off the ground, trying to do some things that I don't have time to do. So I've already got my goals set, and they're not goals that's not achievable. They are goals that I literally can get done this year. Maybe not the book, but the other stuff. And so that was so important to me. And I had to make sure time related. You have to set aside time. I don't care what you do, you got to set aside time. If you're married or you're dating, you got to set aside time for that loved one. If you got children, you got to set aside time. So it's important to have really time management. And I think that's one of the most difficult things for me, that time management, because I get caught up. I'll get in my chair and I'll sit there and zone out. And so I'm working on my time management. I'm trying to determine, I'm trying to get somewhere. And I'm not going to get there just sitting around feeling sorry for myself and woe is me, and I don't have money and I can't do this and they don't like me. Well, that I ain't got nothing to do with that. I have to determine, how can I take what I have, the little bit I have. And when you think about it, in the Bible, when the woman just had a little oil, that's all. She had a little oil. And the prophet wanted her to make a cake. She just had a little bit, but she took that little bit and God began to bless her. And so when you step out and you take that little bit, you'll see a difference. And so when I was looking at goals, I was looking at how to one of my goals is to improve my listening skills. I have a tendency to talk over people. Even when people talking to me, I find it so important that I get my message across. It's so important that, hey, Isla, it's so important that people hear what I say, what I gotta say. But then I have to learn how to have listening skills, and I suck in that area. I really do. And so these are the things that I need to improve on. I need to improve on learning new things. Um, Reading. I read more than I think I have since I was a young person. I've never been one to read books. I like to read little articles every now and then, but now I find myself trying to learn what's going on in our community, uh, learn what's going on in the Black community, learn what's going on in the city. And so when we do the movement, that's so important, because we talk about stuff that's going on. And so in order to know what's going on, you got to read, you got to study, you got to persevere. That's so important. And so I had to learn how to manage my skill. Hey, hey, oh boy, my cousin. Hey, Sheila, it's good to see you. So I had to learn. I'm learning how to do that, and then I also have to learn how to network. You know, okay, you got a gift. Okay, you got a talent. Now what? Do you know that chances are nobody will be knocking on your door and saying, I heard about you. There's you have to do network. You got to get the word out. You really do. Like I do this. And so I come on, and if, people begin, more people begin to see that I'm here. But if I never stepped out, nobody would know. My job, really, to be honest with you guys, my job is to encourage. My job is to push you into destiny. My job is to let you know that you are overcomer. And sometimes it's not that we don't know that. It's every now and then we have to be reminded of who we are. See, you can know that you're great. You can know that you're wonderful. You can know that you cook. You can know that you can sew. You know that you can preach, or you can stand before an audience and captivate them. But if every now and then, if you're not reminded of who you are, and I have a very good friend, I tell her all the time, she's a cook. So I have to remind her who she is. She know it, but my job is to tell her, listen, I know you can cook. Now you need to take that gift and that skill and that ability and determine how you're going to get it out to the masses. Because just because you can cook, thank you for the little grocery you fix every night, then I eat. But until you put it out there. One of my cousins down south, she do seafood. Oh my gosh, that girl is a bomb diggity. I wish I was closer. Of course I'm not. But I mean, she does well, and I follow her, and she sells out all the time. But she stepped out and she took that gift. Now I know sometimes it's difficult when you've been called to do something, but you have to make a determination. How am I going to do this? I know even from a child, I always talked. So I figure, why not take that blessing that I use in a negative sense when I was younger and use it for God's glory. So now I'm on here on Tuesdays, on Wednesdays, on Sundays. We're on here, and what we do is we're trying to get to the masses. You know what? It's not about trying to necessarily be seen of man, but I truly want to encourage people, because one of the things that I read recently, they were saying because of the pandemic, how people with their own businesses have increased. Like, so many people have stepped out, and if it had not been, in some cases, for the pandemic, people would not have stepped out. They would not have walked in their dreams and walked in their vision. Because even with us, because we had, with the movement, we had decided to do some stuff the end of this year, but then the pandemic came and we couldn't do it. So we had to figure out, how am I going to take that gift that God had given me, and try to get it out to the masses. And so, of course, with social media, it's a great tool. And let me say this to you guys: a lot of times, the stuff that you need is free. When I started, all this stuff is free. I have no money right now, but that's okay. All that's coming in time. But I use tools that's free to get the message out. And that's what's so important. And I want to encourage people. And I just want to remind people, especially, I love my men, but especially my women. I want y'all to know that you don't have to allow people to stop you from your dreams or your vision. I believe that if you step out, I believe it'll come to pass. But there's work to be done. And then a lot of times what happens is, it's not that people's not gifted, it's because they get tired, they get scared, or it don't work right away. When we first start on, and we talk about all the time, we come on with a movement, with another organization, and sometimes it'll be two people, two. And there were times when it'd be only us, me and my partner, and we just talked to each other. But we had to trust the process. So whatever you've been called to do, you have to trust the process. And so now I want to talk about what I really came on here to talk about. When I was talking about goals, I just wanted to give you guys a brief synopsis of what goals are, and how important it is to set goals, and how important it is that you got to, first of all, acknowledge who you are and whose you are, and acknowledge that you've been called for such a time as this. Some people call it the marketplace. Some people call it the school system. Some people call it the courthouse. It's so many areas that we've been called to walk in. Some people have their own personal businesses. I remember looking on a show one day, and it was these two ladies, and they had beautiful jewelry, beautiful. And they were from Georgia, and they were talking about, during the pandemic, their mother had taught them years earlier how to take clay, dirt, y'all, dirt, okay, Georgia clay, and make earrings. And so this is how they started their line of earrings. Beautiful, absolutely stunning. But because of the gift that their mother had given them earlier in life, they took that gift and they used it. And so it was so awesome, because what they were doing, they were showing businesses, small businesses, on the news. And so now they got exposure. But if they had never stepped out and dug up the dirt, the clay, and began to make those earrings, nobody would have known who they were. So you can bet they probably made a whole lot of earrings before people realized who they were, and determined to make it. They were determined to get to that place, and that's why it's so important. Whatever your gifts are, and I just want everybody to just tap into that gift, tap into that thing that's on the inside, that burning. That thing that you wake up at late at night and get up early in the morning thinking about. Unequivocally, without a doubt, you've been called to do it, but you don't know how to do it. You don't you get discouraged and you say, oh, it's just a thought. No, you've been predestined to do that. And also, what I've learned about dreams and visions and goals, there are people that's waiting for what you have. It's not just about you. Yeah, I would love for my platform to go mainstream. Oh yes, I would love for things to really turn around for these organizations that I have. But I also have to understand that there's somebody who may need to be encouraged, and somebody needs to be reminded who they are, and somebody needs to know that just how great they are. And that little thing that you do, those cakes you've been making, and how everybody said, girl, you know you can make a cake. Well, hey, what about taking that cake and work with it? Again, I read a while ago about this lady in Atlanta, and she made cookies, and nobody was buying her cookies. But what this woman did, she made a batch of cookies, and she would, well, this was before the pandemic and all this stuff. She would take those cookies and she would go around different areas in Atlanta, and she would give people cookies free. So, long story short, what ended up happening, somebody tastes those cookies and they begin to tell her, oh my gosh, these are phenomenal. And she took that cookie, those cookies, and the rest is history. And she's done great things with that. But she persevered and she stepped out. And that's what's important, that we have to learn how to persevere and step out and keep going in spite of whatever or whoever they say. In other words, who is they? Oh, is they? Who is they? Who is they say? I never got to the bottom of that anyway. So when I look at goals on tonight, what I want to talk about, the acronym for goal for me is go on and live. Go on and live. We got to learn how to just go on and live. Go. That's our goal tonight, to go on and live. Go on and do the things that you've been called to do. Go on and walk in your destiny. Go on and walk in your dream. Go on and live. And so I want to share with you tonight, and I won't read the whole scripture, but I'm going to be coming from 2 Kings 21. I'm not going to read it all, but I'm going to start at least verse 1. It said, in those days was Hezekiah sick unto death. And the prophet Isaiah the son of Amoz came to him and said unto him, thus saith the Lord, set thine house in order. That's the problem, y'all. Some of us need to put our house in order. We are raggedy. That's why we can't go no further. For thou shalt die and not live. And then he turned his face to the wall and prayed unto the Lord, saying, I beseech thee, O Lord, remember now that I have walked before thee in truth and with perfect heart, and have done that which is good in thy sight. And Hezekiah he cried. The Bible said he wept sore. He began to say, God, don't you remember? Don't you remember what I did? What I did? But what I love about this text, and what I love about what I'm talking about tonight, go on and live, that even in this time when the prophet came to him, and God sent the prophet and said, get your house in order, bro, because you getting ready to die. Get yourself ready to meet your Savior. And with this particular text, God gave him a warning. And so all of us don't get a warning. We don't get a warning that to get your house in order because you're getting ready to leave here. But I do believe on tonight that there are some of us that needs to get our house in order, not because we're getting ready to die, but because we're getting ready to do some things, because we're getting ready to go to the next level, because we're getting ready to walk in that greatness, that thing that only God can cause you to walk in. And so when I was looking at this text, and I was so blessed, and what I love about it, God began to speak to him. See, he had already begun to pray to God, but God began to speak to him, and he said, I heard thy prayer. He said, I heard you. He said, I heard your prayer. And that word prayer in this particular text means fala. Fala is supplication. It means to intervene, to interpose. And he said, I heard you. I heard as you prayed. I heard your supplication. I heard how you reminded me who I was. And every now and then, y'all, if we're going to have this walk in this go on and live, we have to, I tell God, God, I can't do this. God, I want to go on and live, God, but I need you. I need you to intercede on my behalf, Lord God. I need your implication. God, I need you to interpose for me. But not only that God said, I love God. He said, I who I am that I am. Simple as that. God's first name is a whole lot of things, but I sure love it when I hear he said, I have heard. That means God have heard the prayer and the supplication. Then not only he said, I've seen your tears. See, I love it because God said he heard, but he also sees. God sees us. Even through this difficult time when we're trying to go on and live our life. My cousin said, live your best life. We're trying to go to the next level. We're trying to do the things that we think we've been called to do. But every now and then, tears begin to roll down our face. Say, God, if you don't fix this, it can't be fixed. When we look at the word tears in the Hebrew, it means dema. It means one weeping, one mourning, one crying. Have you ever been to that place where you cry from the depths of your soul? Where those tears, like, that thing that wells up in your belly. I'm not talking about those little tears that may fall down every now and then, but I'm talking about that thing that goes from on the deep part of you. And this is how this man was. He would begin to cry. But when I looked at tears, oh my God, I used to always say, tears are watering my destiny. I remember so many times in my own personal life when I would cry and cry. I would cry so until there was nothing, no more tears. I can remember crying so until I just would lay and moan because the pain was so great. And when I looked at tears and I began to really understand the importance of tears, tears, it prevents dryness. It provides oxygen for your eyes. It prevents infection. It's a healing mechanism. It creates a smooth place in your eye so infection can't get in there. So every now and then in life, that when you cry, it prevents the infection of life. It stops that thing from destroying you. It stops that for you going and go get a gun and put it in your mouth or take pills. And that's the purpose of tears, because it releases that thing that can destroy you. It releases that thing that can stop you from doing what you've been called to do. And so the Bible said, he said, I've seen your tears. I've seen how you cried out. I've seen you, Elder Sharon Green. I've seen you, cousin Sheila Green. I've seen the disappointment. I've seen you cry. I've seen you wanted to walk away, Barbara Clark. I've seen those times that you didn't think you were going to make it. But he said, I've seen you. But you said, you didn't know that I was listening, nor did you know that I saw you. But he said, but come on. Like he said, there's a goal that I have for you. He said, come on and live, regardless of the tears, regardless of the frustration, regardless of the aggravation. He said, go on and live. Live in spite of it. He said, I know. I saw you. I saw you in the midnight hour when everybody else in the house was asleep. I saw you. I saw you cry. But not only that, he said, I saw you cry. Hey, he said, hello, Miss Shell. Hey, sweetie, how you doing? And also he said, I will heal thee. That's Rapha. He said, in other words, I am going to purify you. I'm going to repair you. I'm going to take care of you. Also, when I studied it, it alludes to physician. In other words, he said, I'm your doctor, whatever you need. So he said he's going to repair you, because the problem with us, the problem when we are crying and the problem when we are hurt is that we never think we'll be healed. We think we'll always hurt. We think it's going to always be this way. We think nobody going to ever love us. We think nobody will ever be there for us. And he said, but I'm going to repair that place. I'm going to repair that heart. I'm going to repair that soul. I'm going to repair that situation that you thought I couldn't repair. When he walked out on you, he said, I'm going to repair that place in your heart. Because when you love someone, whether it's your children, your spouse, your boyfriend, whatever the case may be, your mom. But when that person leaves, whether it be from death, whether people break up, walk away, that pain is so great. And what God is saying with Rapha, he said, I'm going to repair every place in your heart. Why? He said, because I have a goal. I have a goal in mind for you. He said, because I want you to go on and live. He said, I have a goal. Go on and live. I know it don't look well right now, man of God, woman of God. He said, but go on and live. And then he told him, he said, after you do all this, I'm gonna go back and actually read the scripture. He said, okay, and it came to pass after Isaiah was gone out into the middle court. that the word of the Lord came to him saying, turn again. See, he sent the prophet back. See, just when you think it's over, you think that that's the final words, because he told him, prepare yourself, get your house in order, because you're getting ready to die. But he told the man to God, listen, I know you told him to go and tell, I know you told him to get his house in order. He said, but turn and go back again, because I got something that you need to tell them. He said, turn again and tell Isaiah, the captain of my people, thus saith the Lord. So God has a way, just when you thought it was over, Sheila Gray, just when it looks like they had counted to 9 and they were about to hit the floor and you were going to be defeated. But he said, go again and tell him, tell him, tell him. He said, turn again and tell Hezekiah, the captain of my people, thus saith the Lord, the God of David thy father. I heard that prayer. I have seen thy tears. Behold, I will heal thee. And on the third day, thou shalt go to the house of the Lord. And he gave him instruction. He said, I'm going to heal you. See, I love God. When you think it's over, he said, I'm going to heal you. You think you dead. He said, oh, no, baby, it's gold time. Go on and live. It looks like it's over, but go on and live. It looks like that they have thrown in the towel. He said, but go on and live. And he said, on the third day, thou shalt go up to the house of the Lord. He said, listen, come on now. He said, listen, I'm getting ready to bless you. And I'm giving you some instructions. And sometimes God instructions don't make sense. Now he'll tell you to minister to others when you tore up from the floor up. I don't know how many times people have reached out to me and say, I need you. Can you pray with me? Can you pray for me? And I'm so tore down myself. But I had to be obedient. Because when you're obedient, God have a way of blessing. He said on the third day, go to the house of the Lord. And the third means it's the order of the numbers are the numbers which indicates the exact position of something or someone at a place. And God has what he said on the third day. I want you to go to the house of the Lord. On the third day, I want you to go and tell somebody that God's still good. On the third day, I want you to tell them that God is able. On the third day, tell somebody it looked like I was going to die, but God said, live. On the third day, he said, I know I told you to get your house in order. He said, but don't worry about that. You got 15 more years before you have to worry about it. So just when it looks like it's over, God gave him 15 more years. So I want to encourage you on this day. Go on and live. I know it looks like it's over, but go on and live. You got a goal, y'all. It looks like it's over, but go on and live. Go on and live. Even when life don't look good, but go on and live. And when I went on and I perused and I thought about the text and I said, well, my God, what does 15 means? Because he said, I'm going to add 15 years to your life. Well, there's 1 and a 5 in 15. He said 1 means unity, means new beginning. Just when you thought it was over, God said, go on and live. I know you thought it was going to be over. Somebody was planning your funeral. Somebody had already picked out the coffin, but God said, go on and live. He said, unity is new beginning. 5 means God, goodness, and grace. So what God is saying, just when it looks like it was over, he said, I gave you new beginnings. Why? Because you have a goal. Go on and live. He said, unity. He said, I'm going to bring things back together. Even when things look like they're not going to make it. Have you ever been to a place in life when everything that could go wrong would go wrong? You know, you're trying to figure out how to raise them doggone children. You're trying to figure out how to pay your bills. Your credit cards are run up and you don't know which way to go. But God said that I'm adding time to you. He said, I'm giving you time to get it right. He said, I know I told you to get your house in order. He said, but you got 15 years to worry about before you get in your house in order. And so I want to encourage somebody to this night, go on and live. Because God said, he said, a new beginning. I want to speak into your life on tonight. There is about to be a new beginning for you. There's a new beginning coming because somebody on here thought it was over. Even on tonight, you thought life was over. You didn't even think, you couldn't even figure out how, God, can I get this thing back to where I need it to be? How, God, can I even trust you, God, right now? Because I'm so tore up that I don't even know what to do. Now, I know you delivered me when I was in the desert. I understand, but God, I'm just hurt so bad. And I know I'm just not just talking about myself on this night because I could not figure it out. God, how could I survive? How could I go on living like this, God? And God said, go on and live. And I want to encourage you tonight, my sisters and my brother, go on and live. Because just when you thought it was over, he told the prophet to go back again. So even in my life, I believe the prophet is coming back again, on even on your life tonight, to this night. I'm speaking prophetically in your life. And I'm telling you to go back. I'm going back and telling you to go back again. Even though it don't look good, go back. And then he go on and say, and I will deliver thee. See, through all of this, not only did he add 15 more years, but he delivered him from some stuff. See, God has a way of restoring you and delivering you. See, because God had restored me in some areas, but I needed to be delivered from some stuff. I needed to be delivered from some people. I even needed to be delivered from my doggone self. Because when I looked in the mirror, I didn't see the woman of God I was called to be. I didn't see greatness. I just saw a tore up woman who was just working and just trying to live. But God told me to go on and live. He said, you have a goal. And so deliver means to strip, to plunder, to deliver oneself, to snatch away. Some of us just got to be snatched out of situations. God has already blessed you, but there's still some stuff that's lingering around. God has already gave you the extra 15 years, but there's still some people that needs to be gone. You know how we carry people in our hearts. We don't just carry our children. We carry, some of us carry these doggone men that we need to let go. Some of us carry our jobs. Some of us carry our family members. You know, we trying to be everything for everybody, and then there's nobody there for us. I don't know about you, but I've been there. I'm trying to be the big sister. I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to be the wife. I'm trying to be the mother. I'm trying to be the grandma, and then I'm tore up from the floor up. And God said, "But I'm going to deliver you. I'm going to snatch you away from things." And He said that I will. Then He also went on to say, "I will defend this city." I love this text. It says defend means to cover, to surround and protect. I dare say on this night, there's somebody on this live that needs God to defend them, needs God to cover them, to protect them, and to surround them. You know, sometimes it's not always about people, but I say, God, deliver me from me. Because if you can deliver me from me, I can deal with the people. I can deal with what they say. Because I have thick skin. I can deal with when they were saying they remember when. That they don't see Annette the preacher. They don't see Annette the saved woman. They don't see Annette the entrepreneur. They see Annette when she was 15, Annette when she was 21, Annette when she was 35. They don't see the real me. So God, I don't have a problem with what people say about me, because you defend me. I don't have to defend myself. But God, I need you to deliver me from me, because if you can deliver me, God, oh my God, if you can deliver me, Lord God, I'll serve. God, if you can deliver me, I can walk in your greatness. Lord, if you can defend me, Lord God, I can walk in your greatness. And He go on to say these words, for thine own self. Why? He said, I'm going to deliver you because of for thine own self. He said, I'm going to deliver you because you have a goal to go on and live. He said, I'm going to deliver you because you're mine. I'm going to deliver you because I'm God. I'm going to deliver you because somebody needs to hear what you have to say. I'm going to deliver you because somebody's crying out and you have what they need. I'm going to deliver you because you have a word in your belly and somebody needs to hear that they can and will be delivered. I want you to know that I'm going to deliver you. He said, because you're mine. And I'm going to go back up here and read this so you know I'm just not saying something off the top of my head. And he said, I have heard thy prayer. I have seen thy tears. Behold, I will heal thee. On the third day thou shalt go up into the house of the Lord, and I will add unto thee 15 years. And I will deliver thee and this city out of the hand of the king of Assyria. And I will defend this city for mine own sake and for my servant David's sake. He said, I'm going to defend you. And I want to encourage somebody on tonight. He said, I'm going to defend you for my sake. I'm going to let people know that you're mine. I'm going to get you to the place that certain things ain't going to bother you. Those things that you cried about last year, God said you ain't got to cry about those things no more. Those times that you didn't seem like you're going to make it, God said, You ain't got to worry about that no more. That mistake that you made, and even when you were saved, and you told God, God, I don't know how I fell into the bed of affliction. He said, but that's because you're mine. I'm going to defend you. Even when people speak against you, he said, because you're mine, I'm going to defend you. I'm going to raise you up. I'm getting you to that place. I have this goal. Go on and live. Stop worrying about what you can't do. Go on and live. Don't worry about those people because they're going to always be there. Go on and live. So I came on here tonight to tell somebody to go on and live. Regardless of what it looked like, go on and live. If God said he'd give you 15 days, why worry about what somebody else say? Because people will have you in the grave even before your time. They'll have you dead and gone even before your time. So go on and live. That's that goal that I'm talking about tonight. That's that place that I want you to get to. That's that place that only God can take you there when you have such peace. And this is the peace that surpasses all understanding. I understand now that place. I've been in that place. I've been in that place, and I've known people. I known people say something about me, and they didn't even know that I knew, and I still talked to them because it would have been a time in my life that I would have stepped to them. But God said, "No, you gotta go on and live. You ain't got to worry about them. Go on and live. You ain't things gonna work out for you. Go on and live." So tonight, mm, 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 I just came on to encourage somebody that you gotta have this goal to go on and live. And just like Hezekiah, God said, get your house in order. But you don't get your house in order because you're getting ready to leave here. You get your house in order because I'm getting ready to do some things. And there are certain times in our lives that we have to be in a certain order, a certain alignment, a certain place, so that God can begin to put us in place. See, I had to understand the reason for me leaving this job. I'm not sick. In fact, I'm doing pretty good actually. I ain't hit no lotto. My income is going to decrease, but I had to learn how to live. And I had to go on and live because God said, but I have something else. And you'll never be able to walk into that area if you don't step out. And so what I had to do, I had to do house cleaning. I had to get myself in line with what he's saying. I started purging in my house. I started getting rid of stuff that I don't even wear, like clothes with tags on them. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I said, God, I want to take that small thing and be a blessing to somebody else. Do you know those clothes in your closet, those shoes that you don't wear anymore could be a blessing? It's not about always about on Facebook preaching or whatever the case may be, but it's just that small that I start purging and getting rid of stuff and giving away stuff. Why? Because what I'm trying to do is get my literally get my house in order so I can spiritually get my house in order because I know God is taking me somewhere. And wherever he's taking me, I want to have that goal. I want to go on and live. I'm tired of not living. I'm tired of just existing. I'm tired of living my life just willy-nilly. That's whatever will be will be. I say I want to go on and live. And I want to enjoy each breath that God gives me, each step that I take. Because just like this man, Hezekiah, I don't know how many times I turned my face to the wall. Not that I thought I was going to die, but I turned my face to the wall. I said, God, if you don't fix this, I may not die literally, but God, my spirit man had died. And so many of us walking around breathing, but we're walking dead people. We're like what they say in the Bible when he told the man, I think he put spit on his eyes and he told him, what do you see? And he said, I see men that look like trees. In other words, his vision was blurred. And so in my own life, so many times my vision was blurred. And I would turn my face to the wall and say, God, I don't have no more fight. I don't have no more words. I don't know what I was going to do. But when I turned my face to the wall and I began to pray, and God sent an angel back and said, "You shall live and not die." That happened to me in the natural. Even when I took pills and I tried to commit suicide in the natural, but God said I had a goal. Even way back then, when I didn't think I wanted to live, He said, but even then, when you thought that you couldn't make it, He said I had a goal to go on, for you to go on and live. So tonight, I just want to encourage somebody that you go on and live. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care what people say about you. I don't care if you look in your bank account and there's nothing. Even when you open your wallet and there's lint. I don't care if people don't think much of you. They ostracize you. You don't fit in the clique. I've never fit in the clique. My friends will tell you. My friend Shell Coco will tell you. One of the first things I told her, I'm my own woman. I've always stood behind that, but there was some truth to that, and it wasn't always the truth, because I hid behind the fact that if people thought that I was this strong woman, that I would be okay. But no, I wasn't strong. But that just was that persona that I presented, because I didn't want to be perceived as weakness, because as weak. Because what happens when people see people that's weak, they tend to pounce on them. And I had to flex my muscles. But I understood this until I, like Hezekiah, turned my face to the wall. And that's when God gave me the strength to be who I am. Now, when I say I'm my own woman, oh, I mean that from down to my toenails. I am my own woman. I stand proud for who God has called me to be. So I want to encourage you tonight, and to remind you, just in case you forgot, just in case you didn't know exactly who you are, that you are somebody. You have strength, you have power, walk in conviction. I know it don't always look good. In fact, sometimes it look hopeless. But I serve a God that I know He will take care of me. So I want to leave you with these words. Even when it don't look good and you can't seem to find your way out. Michelle said, down to those jeans. That's right. So what you have to do every now and then, because you have a goal to go on and live, you turn your face to the wall and you begin to pray. And you start setting your house in order. And you cry to God. And the Bible said he cried, wept sore. In other words, he had this moaning and groaning, that place that only God knows when you cry so much. But I promise you, God, he says in his word, he said, I hear you, I've seen you, and now I'm going to hear you. And I just want to encourage you tonight to go on and live. Go on and live. And that's the extent of my message now. I want to thank you so much tonight for being on here and listening to me, um, and sharing with you, because it is such a burning passion for me for women and young girls. I have an organization called GIFTS, Girls Inspired for Total Success. And inside of every woman is a little girl. Inside of every little girl, a woman will emerge. And that's the show enough truth. That's the truth. That inside of us, some of us still dealing with those little girl issues, that we never had a safe place, a place that we can really deal with those issues. So what we do, so we suppress them. And so when we begin to dig up and begin to look at our lives and go digging back in our past, we see some of the things that have us bound, and we can't be free. And so, but I want to encourage you to go on and live. So I want to share with you tonight a couple of um, commercial. Oh, I was looking. Okay, Michelle, I'm looking at some of the messages, y'all. Michelle said, "Down to those jeans." That's right, Michelle. That's the insider, y'all. Because Michelle was trying to talk about my jeans one time. I had to tell her something. Uh, uh, Barbara said, great, Red. Thank you, Barbara. I'm looking at, did I put on here my cousin? Thank you. This is my cousin from down south. You know, it's interesting about that. Sheila is my cousin. And I think maybe seen Sheila a couple times in my life, but when my father passed, I got a picture of us, uh, you and my other cousin, and it's so interesting because when I went, let me share this right quick. When I went down there after my father died, and I met some of my cousins, and it was so weird because all these people walk around looking like me and my brother. It was so funny. And so we were standing outside the cemetery, not cemetery, but the funeral home, and the lady kept staring at me. I said, okay. I said, I'm going over here to I say, I told who I was and who my father was. She said, I knew you were Ken. And it's so interesting when I went down there and when I met my cousin, it was like I always knew them. Oh, and it's just such a blessing to see Sheila on here. Thank you so much, Sheila. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us tonight. Man, it's so awesome. You know, I didn't get a chance growing up, because of situation, my mom, my dad's situation. They was going through their own thing. uh, I didn't get a chance to grow up with my cousins or really grow up around them, but I had an opportunity to meet them. So I was so blessed. And sometimes just that small thing in life, you just never forget. And so, I just want you to know that I love you, dear. Thank you so much. Uh, I'm just about to close. I'm just going to share a couple things with you guys, and I'll be finished. And again, thank you so much for coming on. I thank you for indulging me and really listening, because I think I have a responsibility. We all do have a responsibility. Even like Shell Coco, she deal with the children. I think everybody have that place, that niche, and we need to start tapping into that place. Even if you don't go full throttle, but you need to start tapping into it. But I want to share a quick commercial. Tomorrow night at 7, we had a movement. It's a motivation organization filled to educate, mind, empower, nurture, and transform. We are movement to move. Me and Anita. And I want to click that right there to put my cousin. Yes. I got to get back down there and see everybody. I am too. I ain't going in 2021 now. I ain't gonna lie to you, because we got to work on this COVID thingy. But next 2020, I'm coming down that way for sure. Okay. And okay, we're gonna move on. And then we have Power Walk Sunday at 10 o'clock, and we have inspirational words. Me and my friend Anita, we actually be preaching on Sunday. I think this Sunday we have a guest, but like she preached one Sunday, I preached one Sunday, so it's been a blessing. I really, really, really love it. Oh my gosh! And then we're on the clubhouse on Friday at 8 o'clock. So we're doing a lot of things, and it's been such a blessing. And because I like to talk so much, it fits right into what I what I do. It's kind of funny because yeah, I do like to talk. But anyway, so I'm getting ready to end tonight. I thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'm gonna do my little speech like I like to do. My name is Annette L. Anderson, and I am a part of Tuesday Night Talk TNT. And this is the time we take flight and we soar. We speak it, orate it, articulate it, and reverberate it. And if you look at all four of those words, it's all of us about speaking. I think there's power in words. So what have happened so much in our lives? We had so many people speak negativity in our lives, and we begin to eat negativity, and after a while we get fat with it because we think we are what people say we are. But I'm here to encourage you that you're not, that you're a goal. God has called you a goal, has a goal for you to go on and live. So just know that you don't have to receive that negativity. I've learned to speak in my own life because I'm tired of people telling me who I'm not. So I had to tell myself who I am. And then when I don't tell myself who I am, I go to the Bible and let the Bible tell me who I am, because I know I'm somebody. So that's it for me tonight. Thank you so much. And I know, and the rest of this week, just know you have a goal that you got to go on and live. Go on and live in spite of what anybody says or what it looks like. So that's it for me tonight. It's been such a blessing. I thank you. I try to stay on for an hour. It's been an hour. So that's it. Good night, everybody. And hopefully I'll see you next Tuesday at 9 o'clock. Be blessed.